the eRay is an amazing car. It pioneered performance electrification in Corvette. We learned so much from doing that car. We took that learning and put it into ZR1X. We took ZR1X learning and they're putting it into Grand Sport X. So an example of how we're always improving. We increased the power output in ZR1X. In fact, I laid a challenge down to our electrification team when we were going through the development of that, because everyone was doing the math. Oh yeah, 1064, and you know it's going to have 160 horsepower front axle. And I don't care if it's one more horsepower. Just prove them wrong. Do something, and then of course they overachieve, and we're able to extract 186 horsepower. But the extraction of power electrically is coming out of the battery. And the way we do that is to use more of the battery energy. So the battery is exactly the same. Same hardware that came out in the eRay, 1.9 kilowatt hour. It's a tiny battery. It's, compared to an electric vehicle, it's tiny. It's meant to provide a lot of power flow. So a Corvette traveling fast, in fact, kinetic energy is the square of speed. The faster it travels, the more energy with the square of that speed is imparted. And we want to recover that as quickly as we possibly can. So when you step on the brakes in any eRay, ZR1X, or now Grand Sport X, the very first thing that's happening is we're commanding the motor, which is a generator, to put energy into the battery. If you have to decelerate faster than that system is capable of recovering energy, then we're going to use the massive brakes to slow the car down. But that energy that's put into the battery, we expand how much we use. Generally, you don't want to use too much of a battery's energy because it can reduce the life cycle of the battery. In other words, if you overcharge it or under-deplete it, it extracts more life out of the battery. But unlike lead-acid batteries, lithium-ion batteries work quite a bit differently. And learning from eRay, our own durability schedules told us that we could get more energy out of the battery and not degrade any durability performance. We're not backing off on that super long warranty. We're standing behind everything. And so we were able to use more of the battery energy, which increases the voltage at peak capacity. Voltage times current is power. That's where we get 186 horsepower into the front loader. But you might say, okay, well, then just reflash my car to give me all that power. It's just software. You just sit here and change anything. Oh, here's the downer. The front electric motor is a well-optimized machine. So we didn't over-design it when it was making 160 horsepower. When we made 186 horsepower, I had to beef it up. So it has new bearings, a slightly revised case. It's making more torque. And so it's a thoughtful coordination between hardware and software and our continual learning that unfortunately means we can't upgrade a car already out there, but we can bring those learnings forward, and that's exactly what we're doing in the Grand Sport X. Some other cool things, again, discovering new things along the way. For those that read everything there is to read about ZR1X, you may have even seen this slide, but some of this isn't new to you. When eRay came out, we had a couple of modes so that the driver could control the state of charge of the battery. One of those, key up mode, we'll call it, or endurance mode. It's the standard mode. When you start the car up, that's the mode it's in. And essentially, it's if you're given a throttle, it's going to give you all the energy it can give you until the battery runs out. It'll give you whatever you ask for. And then, that's qualifying mode. Endurance mode, Charge Plus, allows the system to maintain a set state of charge. So you can do a session at the track across the street. You can do a tank of fuel and not run the battery out. We're going to target a state of charge. Well, with cars like ZR1X, Drew driving around in a long track like the Nürburgring, we realized, well, we need the driver to have some authority over that control. And so we came up with push to pass, just like a race car, where you can be in endurance mode, but if you want the extra power, say coming up to a long straight, and you're at wide open throttle, you just hit the cruise control up button, which by the way doesn't work in track mode as a cruise control. So we got an extra switch sitting there. So we repurposed that for a push to pass. And then another thing we learned from the electrified Corvettes was the desire to have a feature where we're giving the front axle its control authority, but the rest of the chassis controls is basically turned off. And that's what we call PTM Pro. So we're balancing front axle for turn, entry, and exit, but if you want to get way sideways, if you want to horse the car around, we're going to let you do that.